Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique real estate firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing consultants who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my real estate team member, Mary Baker, and I, along with the director of Boston Connect Real Estate, Melissa Wallace, provide you with our unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We like to mix it up sometimes, so not only will you hear our perspective on real estate topics, but you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of some of our real estate agents at Boston Connect Real Estate and the preferred professionals that we trust. Be part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We'd love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team or one of the dedicated agents at Boston Connect Real Estate to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with us at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. Hello to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara, and you are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable here in our WATD studio that is located at Boston Connect Real Estate right in Pembroke Center. So if you're driving by, come on by and see us. Say hello. We have a special guest in with us tonight, but I have my team members with me as always. Hello, Miss Baker.
Hello, how are you?
If I was any better, I'd be on vacation.
I haven't heard you say that in a really long time.
I know. But yes, it's been good. So anyways, we had some fun. We were looking at some wedding dresses last week, so that was a lot of fun. We took Friday off.
We did. We had ourselves a day. Half day Friday.
I know. So, but what was I going to say? You don't, it's hard to pick a wedding dress. Like, you look beautiful and everything. So, we also have Melissa. Melissa is getting us ready and getting us on all of our Facebook Connect pages, and maybe I'll do a little Instagram later, let the ladies take over. But we do have a special guest, and he's always been so generous with his time with our agents, and he works a lot with Matt Mahoney, who I invited, by the way, tonight, and he said no.
Nice.
He said no. But I guess he's doing a big presentation or something with you in a couple weeks. So we have Pete Fickeisen. Did I say that right?
You did.
All right.
Did.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Pete Fickeisen. And he is a loan officer, or do you go by another name? I'm trying to look around. Luxury Mortgage.
Luxury Mortgage in Marshfield.
Yes.
That's right. Yep. And we mortgage loan originator.
Okay.
Director of Business Development.
Okay. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You do a good job with business development. I don't give a lot of people kudos like that, but you really do a good job.
Nice. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We try.
Perfect. So we asked you to come on. You just did a presentation I think it was last week, and you brought lunch or the week before to our office, and you talked about different types of loan packages and things like that. But Mary and Sam did a show a couple weeks ago that was very well received for investing and investment properties with Mark Stiles, who's also a good friend of yours.
Yep.
He likes to wear my Boston Connect gear. I gave you a notebook. That's all I had today.
I got a blanket, too.
Oh, yeah, you got the blanket.
I didn't wear the blanket, though, tonight.
It was a nice UGG blanket, don't you think?
It's really nice.
Yeah, those are perfect.
Trying to get my kids not to steal it.
Oh, yeah. So. I can give you another one. Don't tell anybody I gave you two. So I'm really happy to have you here with us. We're going to be talking about loans. So to our WATD listeners, 781-837-4900. If you have any questions regarding mortgages, it could be about investment type properties. If you need a mortgage for that, it can just be your very conventional loan. Hey, I just want a loan for whatever. I'm buying $1 million house and I need a loan. You do those too, right?
We do.
Yes. But before we get into that, Pete, why don't you, again, tell everybody a little bit about who you are, how you started in this industry, how long you've been doing it, and all that good stuff.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. So Yeah, I've been here in Massachusetts my whole life, in the mortgage business for 20 years. Was in sales and marketing prior to that, pioneering ski and snowboard helmets.
Oh, really?
So that was, right from college directly into that business, which was very exciting. And then really after 9/11, that business kind of dried up.
Yeah.
People weren't going to the mountains as much, and, it was an oversold product. So started originating mortgages in the early 2000s, and here I am today doing the same thing. So lots of experience, work in multitude of different states, lots of different products. I've only worked for 3 companies. So started with Summit Mortgage right out of the gates. Then I worked for William Ravis Mortgage for 10 years. And then
What years were you there? Were we there together?
we were.
Okay.
So I was there in 2007. So I
Okay.
think you were just
Just leaving at that
Right.
time, yeah.
Yeah. And then, came over to Luxury Mortgage, just celebrated my 5th year anniversary, which was
Happy anniversary.
fantastic. Yeah. And just continuing to kind of grow the branch. And, what we're here to talk about tonight is, a different type of loan product. Loan products that serve people for investments, loan products that serve self-employed borrowers, and people with kind of a story.
Yeah.
So they're story type of loans. They're not traditional financing, but, we cater to them all, whether
Yeah.
it's you're a first-time home buyer, you're an investor, you're, buying your first multi, buying a second home in Florida, buying a second home on Cape Cod. I mean, we kind of do it all.
I was excited to hear that you do Florida, right? So,
A lot of business in Florida.
yeah, so I'm really excited about that. And then I know Mark Stiles said that he is now licensed in Florida to do the closings and everything. So they're not a title state then, they're an attorney state as well?
It depends what part of the state you're in. You can be an attorney and be a title company, or you can just be a title company. So parts of Florida, East Coast, there are portions that you have an attorney. Most of the state is a title state, which is different than Massachusetts, because here, we have an attorney, and the attorney usually acts as that title holder, so or a title issuer. So it's different, because here in Massachusetts, we make an offer.
Yep.
In Florida, you go straight to purchase and sale right out of the gates.
Really?
So the agent is truly writing the whole deal.
Huh.
So the attorney really has no
That's
other.
sort of scary in a way, because I think about how much stuff goes wrong in a purchase and when you get to the purchase and sales agreement part, right? Things can. There's a lot of negotiating that's still
Right.
going on.
I think, and you might know better than I, but out in the Berkshires, I think they go straight to purchase and sales agreement. They don't do an offer to purchase.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, even in Massachusetts here locally.
So those areas that kind of touch Connecticut and New York and New Hampshire, all those states go straight to purchase and sale. So the agent's actually writing everything right there and then we're basically ordering title. The attorneys, they're title states. So the attorney's not really involved at all in the purchase and sale or negotiation or anything.
They're really just conducting the closing then.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
That's a lot of pressure on the agent. Hi, I'm here. I actually have a question about some of the deals that you've done recently or since sort of COVID started in Florida. Are you seeing a lot of people buying second homes, or are they moving there permanently?
So we have a lot of clients in New York, that moved to Florida permanently. So a lot of people moved out of metropolitan areas. When we had a change in the administration, tax change, big tax change in a lot of states, big tax change federally. A lot of companies moved. Thankfully, Massachusetts, our governor did a great job, and all the state reps did a great job, and a lot of the companies stayed. But a lot of companies in New York, California, and other kind of higher tax brackets, they've gone to South Beach, they've gone to other parts of Florida, Jacksonville, they've gone to Texas, where we do business as well. And that's simply from a tax corporate, position that they want to take. So not only did people leave out of kind of a necessity to get out of cities, but people left out of necessity because their corporations moved.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we've talked about this numerous times in the past 2 years, but we saw a huge trend, at least with our listings, because obviously we see all the offers that come in, with our team listings, that a lot of people were moving out of the city and moving to the South Shore. So primarily the majority of our business here is on the South Shore, in the Cape, the islands. But we were seeing a lot of people being able to work from home, and sort of their job, quote unquote, life was changing, even though they weren't going into the office. I know somebody who literally just went back to their office after 2 years of not being in there. Like, it was like going into a whole new building. Like, no one had ever been there. And I was like, did anybody leave anything in the fridge? Like, that'd be weird. But that was the first thing that I thought of. But, we saw the trend of people moving to the South Shore. So I was interested to hear if you saw the trend of people just moving out of state altogether.
We did. Specifically, I'd say age groups from, the high 20s all the way to the 40s. A lot of people that had their kids in private school in the city of Boston, that, live in Boston but sent their kids to private schools, they moved. And they moved out big. Newport,
Wow.
Huge amount. I'm actually got 3 or 4 deals closing this month with people that just sold or are moving out of the city because their return to job is 2 days a week. So like, hey, I can commute from Newport all day long and be near the beach and, get a house. A little more inventory down in Rhode Island right now. So people are able to pick up, a lot of sense. Homes in Narragansett, all those areas right there near Newport.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I'd like to move to Newport.
But people are moving to the South Shore. But Melissa, people are moving to the South Shore.
Yeah.
Hull, Marshfield, Situate.
Yeah.
Duxbury, all the way down to Plymouth.
I feel a lot of the towns that you just mentioned are like sort of beach towns, so it's the total opposite from a city town or a city. So you're not sort of living on top of each other. So I feel like COVID has given people the appreciation of the sea again.
And or space in general, right?
Not want to kind of outdoors.
Yeah.
Like outdoors.
I think when everybody was holed up in their 600 square foot apartments or condos in the city, they're like, there's nothing to do here when everything is closed. Right. Yeah. Ergo, I want to have a yard for my dog, or I want to get a dog, or something like that.
That's also part of the reason why the market has sort of increased in price on the South Shore, is because everybody who could afford to live in the city is now coming to the South Shore and raising the prices, because they can come in and offer so much, or they can sometimes offer so much more than maybe somebody who grew up around here. And so you're seeing sort of the change in the tides, so to say, in some of the towns down here.
That actually brings up a good point too, because we were seeing a lot of people coming down from the city who maybe had a condo in the city and they were living there for several years. So one of the products that you just recently introduced our office to, or at least me to, was the non-QM product, right? Yep. So that's a non-qualified mortgage,
correct?
Right.
So traditionally, like when I met with Sam and his investment group the other night, which was shocking that there was 25 to 30 under 40-year-olds there, all looking or already own multiple investment properties. So I was taken back, to be honest with you. These guys were dialed in. They all knew what they wanted. The problem is, where do they get it?
Yeah.
Right? So, but one of the biggest things that I think with COVID is that people moved out of the city, they bought. There's not a lot of rental ability down here on the South Shore at all. So, with these products that we have, it allows an investor to go out and buy a home with 20% down and qualify on just the rent. So
that's where
there's
I was
no
going
personal.
with that.
So it's almost like a commercial loan, where like, hey, I'm going to buy a pizza shop. As long as the pizza shop does $50,000 a month and the mortgage and all my other expenses are less than $50,000, you get the loan. It's the same thing now we're doing with 1 to 4 unit properties, where people can go out and buy a place and just qualify off the rent,
which has never been heard of before. I mean, there's so many different. We could do a whole show on non-QM loans, because there's so many different facets of it and so many different ways that it can be applied, like to your, not only your investor but your self-employed person. So like a realtor, we're 1099, we're self-employed, commission-based sales. Sometimes that's very hard to judge year to year, right? So that was one of the things that we talked about. But I know applicably even to a majority of people right now. I think the idea of getting into investing, and Mark Stiles, the show that we did with Mark Stiles, he was all for however you got to get it. It's the long-term plan, and just go for it, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at what's going on in the marketplace because of the war. You know, we've got one of the best marketplaces out there right now in real estate.
Yeah.
But you know, stocks are tanking, and it's not the greatest situation. So real estate's a safe haven long term, and someone else is paying your payment for you.
Yeah.
So I think it's, you know, the investment cash flow loan is great. You can close in an LLC. It's going to be less expensive than a commercial loan at a local bank.
Yep.
Very easy to close. Local appraisers, not a commercial appraisal, so it's cheaper there. So lots of pros, not cons for that product.
So those products are for investment properties only?
Correct.
That would be one facet of the non-QM, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm looking at one of the sheets that you gave us, and this is something that was very interesting to me, where actually I'm putting on sort of what would we call it? A series. Yeah, a series for our agents called Financially Secure Futures. And I have a QuickBooks Pro coming on, and then I have Styles' office coming in to do estate planning. And then I have Alyssa McNamara from McNamara Financial coming in to talk about investments.
Are you related?
Yeah,
nice.
That's my niece. Yep. So, you know, we'll have her on, and because as a real estate agent, we are self-employed, 1099s. But I know when Mark and I bought our first home, you know, he was self-employed, and the process was not really easy to do that for self-employed. So can you talk a little bit about that and how it works for people who are self-employed?
Right. So for self-employed borrowers, we have a lot of different programs. So Mary, you were just talking about the 1099 program as a real estate agent. So if you're out there listening to the show and you're driving around your car, maybe you're an Uber driver, you're 1099 too, right? And you may get multiple 1099s if you're a musician or a wedding singer. We talked about that. I had someone who sent me 32 1099s.
I would lose one. Like, you know, I would.
That's a lot of weddings.
Yeah, that's great.
But you know, made great money. But traditional qualification for a self-employed borrower, you're taking a percentage of multiple years of income divided by all the expenses. So very good accountants out there, and you know, the accountant's job is to, you know, get you the best deal with the government and or the state. So when your accountant's going through everything, you're writing off all your expenses, at the end of the day, you might make $100,000, but at the end of the day, you might make $25,000.
I was going to say, if your accountant is really doing something.
So with the 1099 program specifically, if you get a 1099, we'll just use 75% of your last year's 1099 to qualify you, and then we qualify you the regular way. So we enter that as your income figure. So if you're a real estate agent, you might write off your car, you might write off miles, you might write off marketing pieces, signs. I mean, it adds up, right? Especially if you're getting into this for your first time. Other self-employed programs we have are business bank statement loans. So you own we'll go back to the pizza place.
Yep.
You own a pizza place, your business does $50,000 a month, right? So if you're 100% owner of that pizza place, what we'll do is we'll take a percentage of your ownership, percentage of those profits, divide it by 12, and then qualify you off that. So really, it's just a different way of looking at it, rather than looking at every single expense you might have, because you might not qualify that way.
Yeah. So it's almost like taking the person as a whole rather than just their W-2s, bank statements. Like, that's the conventional method. It's your credit report.
None of those.
Yeah, it's creative lending. No creative lending.
But legal.
Very, very,
but creative.
Right, but very, very legal. And this is not, and very important, this is not subprime. These are people that are established business owners that have money coming in, that have credit, that have assets for money to put down.
Well, and that's one of the things that I do like about your programs as well. When you were talking to us about just your mind, like at one point, like you sort of, it was almost like you weren't in front of all of us, and you were like, blah, 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 like in talking, like it's like you could hear
like a beautiful mind. Everything
like you could see, like everything was going on in his head, and he was like verbalizing. But like I love that because I know, I mean, Mary works with all of our buyers, but for me, like when I go to the ice cream to get ice cream, like I don't just get vanilla. I have to put to the ice cream when I go to Dairy Twist. When I go to Dairy Twist, I don't just get vanilla. Like I'll have to get some sprinkles on it, right? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? But there are so many loan programs that out there that are, you really get one flavor, and that's it. Either you like that flavor or you don't, meaning you either fit into the box or you don't. So I think that that's great about, you know, the programs that you do offer people and how there is some sprinkles involved.
I think I said we're like that big, we're like that big Valentine's Day box of chocolates that Mark got you. Yeah. With like 50 different, 100 different flavors.
Yeah. Oh, Mark knows better than to get that.
Well, Mark doesn't get me chocolates. Mark's probably listening right now, but it wasn't too long ago when I said, how can you stand, I think it was COVID when New Year's, we were both home, like quarantined, and I was like, how can you stand me? Like I'm fat and ugly these days. And he's like, get skinny and pretty. That didn't go over well.
I was going to say, that's only because you've been married as long as you have been.
I know, 30 years. So go ahead, Mel. I know that I sort of interrupted.
No, I wasn't talking. I was just going to say, are there any other sort of loan programs in the non-QM that you want to sort of highlight?
Yeah, so when we talked about people moving out of state, or specifically those of you that are retired or don't have that income stream that used to have, with COVID, we had a lot of tragedy, but we also had a point in time financially where the financial markets hit another low. It was kind of like a 9/11. There was a date in late March of 2020 that, you know, the market bottomed out. When that happened, a lot of savvy investors, a lot of people with money in the market acted and bought in and took huge risk. Those people that took huge risk had huge rewards, specifically companies. Okay. So going into that, you've got people with assets that, like I had a client from California and said, hey, I'm moving to Cape Cod. I want to buy this house. I just talked to 2 different banks. They said no. I said, why? And he said, well, I don't have a job. I was like, okay, well, let's go through all the different items that, you know, pertain to you. And the one thing that stood out, the one thing that we ask when we look at these loan products are assets. So whether you're selling a home, which I think is really important to a lot of you, because a lot of people are out there saying, you know, I really want to capture this marketplace. It's the highest values ever, right? It's the highest values ever. I want to sell my place. Well, when you're looking at that, you might say, well, I might not work. If you don't work, we can use those proceeds. And as long as you have 125% of your mortgage debt in the bank post-closing, we'll do that deal. Okay, so we're looking at the liquidity that you have post-closing, and we're looking at the amount of debt you have for a current living expense or investment expense, and it works. So this gentleman had just retired early in his 40s. Wish I could do that.
Yeah.
And not basically had a lot of company stock. So a lot of people in the city right now have a lot of stock. They got into software companies early. They got into pharmaceutical companies early. Anyways, long story short is if you have that ability and you want to buy something, but you know, we're like the financial planner's best friend. The last thing a financial planner wants to hear is, hey, I know I've got $3 million in the account. I want to buy that house in Naples. I need to take out $1.5 million to go do it, or I need to take out $700,000 out of my $2 million that I have saved up my whole life to go buy this house cash because I can't get a mortgage. We've solved that, which I think is very, very important. And you know, I'd say one of the best local stories I had was a woman that's been a nurse at South Shore Hospital for 35 years, wanted to move to Florida. Sold her house in Brockton, and was able to do this program and retire at the same time.
Awesome. Wow.
So she had the equity, had no mortgage, paid her house off. So she got her $500,000. She bought a nice $300,000 home right outside of Orlando. Loves it. Loves the place she's in. just spoke with them a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
Very, very happy.
That's awesome. And so many people are sort of flowing down there. I mean, I think for a couple of reasons we've been discussing this. Actually, a few weeks ago we had on a real estate agent from Naples on with us, and she was wonderful too. So we'll have to make sure that because if we ever have people from here going there, that we do like this 3-way sort of connection for you guys with Mark Stiles. But a lot of people go in there, escaping a blue state to go to a red state.
She was very honest about that.
She was very honest about it.
She said it.
In taxes and things like that. So, and that's one of the things that we're actually talking. I actually sent you an invite to Clubhouse. I don't know. Are you part of Clubhouse?
I'm not. I asked Mark about it because I'm an Android guy.
But you
have to be an Apple guy.
No, I think
I think Android you can do it now, but click on it. Anyways, Mark, it's coming again. It's like bigger and better even now. But I listen to a lot of the Clubhouse rooms, and Mary and I have been listening to one. Actually, somebody in the industry, Dakota Riley, who's she works for another company, but she's great. And what we like to say is we're all colleagues. We just wear different color, logos, right? So Dakota is wonderful, and she's been she started a room, and we were in there talking the other day about the inventory is so low. So I just got off the phone with somebody after an hour and 17 minutes, a buyer's agent that is so upset that his client's offer didn't get accepted on one of our agent's offers. Hour and 17 minutes to explain to him, like, I'm sorry, like there's nothing we can do. We had to say no to 14 people. But we were talking, is there a way for people? There's so many people that are like, okay, in order for me to move to this house, I have to sell this house. I feel like that's sort of what you were just sort of talking about a little bit, but are there some programs where people can take that money out, that equity out to, put down on another house?
That's interesting. That would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Bridge loans.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
We have those.
We got that. We got a colonial. We got a colonial. We got a guy.
So I think the most important thing, like we try to tell everyone, is to have, a plan.
Yep.
So everyone, I think, in the back of their mind has a plan, but they need to have a plan. And the sooner that you kind of forecast out what you want to do, the better. Hey, I think we might move in 2 years. We're going to have another child, or we're going to do this or that. Start talking to a realtor or a mortgage person right away. Because we might say, hey, listen, if you're going to move in 2 years, go get an equity line so you've got your down payment.
Yep.
Right? Or, hey, listen, we should look to refinance you and get you, savings if we can right now. Having that plan is so crucial, because in that scenario, that person probably could have gotten a bridge loan and not had a home sale contingency.
Yeah.
Right? Or, that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, we had multiple offers over the weekend. We used the bridge loan probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And that is a safeguard to basically make sure that if they can't close on their property before they buy the other one, so they have the money, as long as they qualify to carry both homes, we'll take out an interest-only loan on their current home, we'll appraise it, give them the money, and then we'll do the loan on the new house.
Yeah.
The only caveat is bridge loans are expensive. You don't want to do them, right? We really use them as a vehicle to get the client there.
For short term.
Right.
So when you say really expensive, give me an idea. 8%, 9%?
8%, a couple points.
Okay. Well, and if that gets you into the house when there's such competition right now, I mean,
potentially without you having to bid $80,000 over asking or $100,000 over asking because you're trying to outweigh your home sale contingency.
Good point, Mary.
It kind of evens out.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't it gratefully evens out.
Yeah, because me as like being a very heavy listing agent, I mean, I'm looking at things and what is going to be the easiest for my client and 100%. Who's going to bring us to the table. What I don't want is a bunch of trucks and a bunch of homeless people, hanging around. So tell us a little bit. So with the bridge loan, that's something that they could have in place. Okay. When do they put it in place? Once they've secured another house or found another house, or before? Is it like a pre-approval that you give? Like, how does that work?
So I would say the biggest thing, Sharon, right now is, just having a pre-approval letter doesn't mean squat.
100%. I was on the phone for an hour and 17 minutes.
So, and as you stated, like a lot of other listing agents, sellers agents are smart. If you're getting the listings right now, you are smart, you are savvy, you're going through every single little thing. When I don't get a phone call and I'm the loan officer for the buyer, I know we're not getting the deal.
Yep.
Okay? That's one of my trades. We call that seller's agent. I've spoken to you multiple times, and Mary, saying, hey, so excited to work with you guys. No pun. Hopefully we work together on this deal.
Exactly. Hopefully it gets accepted.
If the price and the terms are right. But again, it's part of that strategy. There's so many buyers walking around with letters that were printed in January. Hey, rates have gone up over 1% since January.
That's something that until you came in the other day that I wasn't, I mean, everybody is hearing that the rates are going up, but it wasn't something that I was looking at the pre-approval date on the pre-approval letters that we're getting, making sure that, because some of them, I mean, in the past, they were good for 60 days, some were good for 90 days. So making sure that the ones that we're getting are
But anything done in January, that rate could have been 3.25%, where today could be 4.25%.
Yeah.
Right? So
what are interest rates today?
It depends. Come on. It depends. All right, so I have an...
That's like asking me what my favorite color is. It really depends on the scenario.
I have an 800 credit score and not
low
a lot
threes.
of debt. Low threes?
Low to mid threes.
Okay.
But again, depending on what you're doing and what the loan amount is, what the term is.
Yeah, there's all kinds of variables, right?
But those are
fine.
Well, let me just ask, can we just make this about me and let's forget that WATD is listening? Do we have listeners? 781-837-4900. If you have any questions for us regarding real estate or Pete, again, we have Pete Fickeisen here from Luxury Mortgage with us. He is a wealth of information and knowledge. So if you have questions, I suggest that you call us now. We'll certainly give out his information at the end of the show. He works a lot with Stiles Law, who we had on a couple weeks ago, too. So it's a really, really good team that we've put together here, and especially, with different facets, too, like with the investing and everything else. So I think that's great.
You want to buy a house? We got a guy.
Yeah, we got a guy. We got a couple guys that can help you out there. But my question is so if I wanted to buy a second home down in Florida, so my process, how is a listing agent down there going to feel about seeing your loan approval from Massachusetts?
So again, we like to give our pre-approvals. So the difference is we issue pre-approvals.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there, a lot of banks, a lot of local banks, pre-quals.
Okay. So explain to our listeners. Yep.
Okay. So the difference between a pre-qual and a pre-approval is a pre-qual is something that you can generally get online without talking to anybody that might pull a soft credit score without any verification of anything.
Yeah.
I am telling you what my credit score is. I'm telling you how much money I made with no qualification.
Yep.
It's the same again at a lot of local banks. As a lender, and we work as a lender. We work with, we fund, underwrite, do everything in-house, right? I rarely broker a loan, okay? But that being said, we correspond with hundreds of lenders across the country to get our clients the best rates.
Yeah.
We service a lot of our own loans as well. So post-closing, you have an issue, give us a call. But how do we strategize to get that buyer in, specifically in Florida? Had somebody looking today, right? She's lost out on 17 deals.
Oh, no.
Okay? But I think her problem is she's not there.
Oh.
Okay. She is an agent going and previewing, walking around, which is very common today.
Yeah.
In Newport, we have people buying. The agents walking around. These people are buying based off a video. They're walking around. They're meeting the agent. They're meeting the listing agent like this.
Yeah.
So, I think it's all in presentation. I mean, what we're seeing the most is price, terms, and how can we represent that buyer the best as we can as a lender. So what we do is we kind of go through, we get everybody what we call mortgage ready, which is we start running numbers, right? So we pre-approve you, we pre-underwrite you, which is key. And then we start discussing things like mortgage contingencies, like how do we match a cash offer, right? How do we get that seller to understand that we are the best person and we're going to close on time with very little issues.
So you look like the shiny diamond in a bunch of coal, right? So the seller is just like, I want the diamond.
You got to make yourself stand out.
But I think it's all about perception. I'll tell buyers all the time, when you're walking through the home, don't make comments. People, the agents are listening. They are. And, whether, there's opinions formed or not, there are, I mean, people are watching people's mannerisms. People will know if you're there or not. I mean, I've had buyers lose out on a lot of deals, like my client in Florida, because she's not there.
I have to say, I would be weary of somebody putting in an offer just having seen the house via, especially if I didn't know
FaceTime?
the buyer's agent on the other side. Like if it was a buyer's agent that you were super familiar with and say like, hey, and they were able to say, I really know this client. I've sold them several houses before. They just happen to be away. Maybe if they could plead that case, that's one scenario. But another is, that's like a sight unseen offer, truthfully.
Right.
Well, and I think too, though, in the past, I've been sort of burnt by that as a listing agent, where we had something under agreement, and then they said they went to home inspection. I don't even know if we got to home inspection. They wanted to come back for to look at something or to bring the kids. But the truth was they were bringing the husband back, and the husband had never seen the house, and we accepted the offer. And I said to the agent, under what circumstances did you think it was okay for them to put in an offer on a property that he's never seen? They just wanted to sort of tie up the property, so that's what they did. So after that, I sort of always have that in the back of my head. But we did have a listing, the one over on Oldham Pond. I remember the people were on a cruise, so they sent their daughter-in-law to come and look at the house. But what did the daughter-in-law tell me? Oh yeah, my in-laws, they're in Iceland right now, and they can't make it to get here. So, bop.
Everything
I'm like,
done.
okay. So then when we presented the offer, I was like, P.S. These people are in Iceland right now on a boat, and they've never seen the property. Oh, well, what if they don't like it? Exactly.
Right, but if it's cash, where they represent that, whether they're taking a mortgage or not.
Yeah.
If there's no inspection contingency. So these are all the things we're going through with our clients.
Yeah.
I'm stepping out of my comfort zone
Yep.
a lot with buyers just to explain, hey, this is what's happening in this area.
Yep.
Okay, it's up to the agent. It's your guys' job to really understand what's going on with this listing, where you think it's going to go, what are the comps. You'll be surprised how many agents that I've worked with, because my buyer picked that agent.
Yeah.
That, well, the agent said, you know what, it's a standard in Plymouth. We always go 65 over asking in this area.
Wow.
And I'm like, you know what? That might not be right.
I'm cringing.
Yeah, what
I would never say standard.
Yeah, I would never.
There's a lot of quote unquote standards out there, and I think it's really important to run comps and present them to a buyer. Because listen, I'm going to ask you one thing: if you only have X amount of money to put down on a home, one of the biggest things sellers ask is this house going to appraise? Well, one of the things we talked about in the meeting a couple of weeks ago was an appraisal gap.
Oh yeah.
We're going to make up an appraisal gap, by the way. We've got extra money. We've got 20%. I'll make up a gap of $50,000 because we really want this house, right? Now, there's some agents that say, hey, listen, I don't want to even bring that up because you guys have to read if the other person understands that. And I think that is, part of the education that I hope is going on more in offices now, that people are reviewing these things because for us, we don't control the appraisal. The appraisal is a third-party company with every single mortgage company. Okay? I don't know who's going out. I just know it's one of the 5 people that we picked that we rotate arbitrarily. I have no control over that. Ever since subprime loans, no control, which is good and bad. But as a lender, we order it. My staff communicates. I'm not allowed to communicate with the appraiser. And, basically we're looking at scenarios where we don't have a lot of appraisal issues because there's so many great comps that happen December and January. Okay?
Yeah.
A lot of inventory closed out there. But it's really crucial to have a great agent and an agent that knows the marketplace and what you're buying.
I like that you said, your staff communicates with the appraiser. Has anyone ever called you when, an appraisal doesn't come in and they're angry at you? But you have nothing to do with it.
Right. You literally have nothing to do with it.
But we hire the people, and I think one of the key things about using a local lender is that local lender or lender that serves these areas, we have people that we've handpicked that are the best in those areas. Okay? It's not all about price. It's not all about turn times. It's about finding the right person that knows what they're doing.
Right.
Specifically in very competitive markets.
And that's why when I'm doing a presentation for someone, like a CMA, for somebody to find the value of their house, I'll tell you, it was a little difficult for a while, though, because we had so much, not market value, but emotional value. It almost would have been helpful if we had, the appraised price literally in MLS so we could see that. so we can sort of best judge about, how much money people are putting down and everything, just to make sure that it would still go through. But I think that the emotional value part of it, we're going to see that again this year. Like we're already see it, and, one of the things, like the offers, one of my agents got these offers, and, with the appraisal gap, and, everybody's trying everything. One of them was like, we'll pay the sellers fees, state tax stamps. Like, I understand buyers are really trying everything they can, but I feel bad for them. That's why I'm a listing agent.
Yeah.
That's why we need people to sell more homes.
That's why I have more gray hair than I've ever had in my life.
Well, it's almost, I remember having a conversation with somebody, and I think Rhode Island is actually doing it right now for first-time home buyers. Like there's a $25,000 first-time home buyer incentive, which why we need that, I don't know, but
But the issue is, just like Massachusetts, is that we can't get, it's so hard to get a buyer with 3.5% and 3% and 0% down.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest issues we have in the state that we've brought up to the state.
Yeah.
To say that, hey, listen, we want to help these people, but like I reviewed today with our CEO, he's like, hey, how come we're not doing loans from this value to this value? And I'm like, because there's none available. Like literally, we'd have to go to Worcester.
Oh.
I mean, we have some condos here on the South Shore, maybe in the 300,000 range.
There's one in Pembroke currently.
Right.
One.
Okay.
We're back. Just in time for Pete to give his.
Plug us.
Yeah, I think something happened. I think that the topic was so hot that it actually blew up our equipment here, and it took us a little while to get back on track. But all that means is we sort of trick people into thinking that that's what happened, but that's just an invitation for you to come back.
Awesome.
And
Sounds good.
We would love to have you come back and go over all these great loan products and everything. But why don't you give everybody your contact information so they can get in touch with you directly?
Sounds good. So you can reach us in Marshfield. We're at 892 Plain Street, suite number 203. So we're there in that office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Walk-ins welcome. Walk-ins welcome.
Walk-ins are welcome these days. We are.
And your phone number?
And phone number is 508-240-4418.
One more time.
508-240-4418.
And how about a website?
Website is www.fikkeloans.com.
All right, perfect. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. And I promise if you need this information, just call us at bostonconnect.com, 781-826-8000. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.